Welcome to Natural Habitat Adventures, Daily Dose of Nature. Today's topic, why you can feel proud to travel with Nat Hab, presented by Nat Hab Expedition Leader Arpita Dutta. I'm your host, Rob Mess. Thank you all so much for being here with us today. Over to you, Arpita.
Thank you so much, Rob, for this wonderful introduction. And let me tell you once again in front of our audience that you have an amazing, captivating voice. I mean, the way you started up, it's really, really wonderful. It gives so much of power to the webinar. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. And it's been always a pleasure to present the webinar with you all. And because you are here, I'm here, Rob is here, and our NHA team is there at the back. So I think we all love traveling to some extent, whether it's a day out or we are going for a holiday. Like, we love to travel. And I can remember when I was a kid, I used to visit my grandparents' farmhouse, which is almost 3 to 4 hours from the city, in a very like isolated area, and has so many trees and ponds that for me it was like a way out where there is no like school, no homework. Mom is not scolding me to sit and study, so I was kind of an untied goat which just suddenly get out. So of course, for me, every time I get a holiday from my school, I know that I have to go there. And over there, I think when I was like growing up, I was surrounded with so much of nature, and I got all this, I could imbibe the things, because that time there was, I mean, over there were no electricity, even no internet, nothing. I mean, internet came after a long time. But I think it was a time when I grown up with Mother Nature's and her creature. So yeah, and I think that traveling insect bit me from there, and till date, it's keep on instigating me to move out. And yes, and being an expedition leader, it gives me more, energy, more power to visit different places. And even if I go at the same place at the same time, I keep on seeing new things. Trust me, it happens. It never like a repetition happens in nature. And of course, so like we travel for happiness. Whenever we talk about or start planning, I think there is a beautiful feeling inside, that's giggling out that, okay, we are going to go out. Wow, book the bus or train or the flight. So much procedures to happen. And that could be for like work, spending time with self, which I do like twice, 2 months in monsoon every year, and of course spend time with our family and friends. So like travel, yeah, so the thing is, travel make us move like open to the world, that helps us as we learn something on the way. Overall, we all have a purpose of travel. We have something in mind that we look and we search for. So now to travel, we need a plan, right? And if not all, but at least choosing a place. We do a lot of homework sometimes, more than what we did during our school, at least I do. But we are busy in our schedule so much that a little help from outside, like some tour operators and organizers, would be definitely gives us a relief. But that goes with like what specific tourism or what specific travel we are looking for. It can be culture, heritage, wildlife, sports, food, and even spiritual traveling. Everything got together, and everyone has like all the operators who organize the trips has their specialization, as like NHA has their specialization with wildlife adventure globally. And the huge factor which stands out in this is the trust and the understanding. I mean, imagine you are talking to a person to plan your trip, and that person can exactly understand that what you are looking for, and they can help you like a tailor-made trip for you. How amazing that would be. And if you like, and imagine along with that, if you want, I mean, if your travel add on to the benefit for environment, community, and sustainability, nothing can be better than that. So yeah, so here I'm gonna be like telling you that why you should feel proud when you get connected with Nat Hab. And honestly, I'm telling you, it's not about, talking about Nat Hab. It's all about the conservation effort, the ideology, the ethics, because a lot of people talk about a lot of things nowadays just to, make up the thing or just to build you a high hope castle. But each and every brick of that castle is made out of made of ethics and a, a lot of hard work to it that makes a lot of difference, no, undoubtedly. So when we talk about traveling or tourism, there is a big truth behind it, where we actually go through a lot of points which can show that tourism is bringing a lot of changes in environmental changes, which is like resources we are taking, we are putting a lot of garbage, carbon footprints are increasing, influencing the local culture, and the privacy of the local communities can be, intimidated, or I would say that somewhere we feel that your tourism, if it is not properly done, we can actually face all this problem. Rather, we are facing a lot of problem because of the tourism industry as well. Then why? Like why we travel with an organization, and even if we are traveling solo, then what changes can we bring when we are stepping out from our home? So impact of irresponsible tourism, you can see that how it could happen. Like so much of like plastics is definitely a huge problem, but not only plastics, it's everything. Just see with the animals, the behavior, the bottom left hand side is the Mount Everest, and this is the ocean nowadays, and this is how people get entertained by with animal, by using them. And this is really unfair. I mean, especially we, when we love and when we feel for them, that's definitely makes a lot of difference. I mean, looking at these pictures, I mean, these are pictures, but of course these are taken over there, and it's really heartbreaking, isn't it, when we see something like this. But there are good impact of when the tourism, when the travel done with a good motive, then it can actually have a valuable impact on the environment, the culture, the heritage, the local people, and a beautiful example create with, I mean, which has the sustainable and conservation concept. So when we travel, imagine when we, and Nat Hab was initially, it was the first dilemma they were facing, that because of tourism, so many things happen. So what change can be there? So the thing is, we don't know. I mean, if we don't know about certain things, it's like a black room. And unless and until we put on a light, we won't be able to see that what is there inside the room. The same thing happens you grow compassion and the love and the responsibility towards nature when you actually visit the places, when you see the animals up close, you see them, what they're doing, how they're looking at you, or how they're walking, how they have a family life, and how they are calculating their survival in those patch of forest. So I think there you grow the idea that how important it is, and you can actually get connect with nature. So that is the good thing about the travel, and especially when it is a wildlife adventure or traveling in around nature. I think we get a bliss, and with age I think it is very spiritual as well. You get connected with the divine things. You get the meaning of the presence of you and the surroundings. So the love for nature and education. So whatever you see, you are like then you become the teacher. You become the interpreter that spreads out. You connect more people with it. So that's how the awareness, the education, and the outreach, the maximum outreach you can reach, so that these all happens. And of course the broadening the horizon, the view that how this the tribes are living till date. I mean, when we are living in a city, when it's hot we are turning the AC on, or it's cold we are turning the heater. We have our car, we have electric stoves, all these things, like all the invention which actually made our life pretty easy. We are quite used to with it. But when we talk about the tribes we are living around, especially I would talk about India, because of course this is where I belong. So because I go to many places, and there is a state where there are almost 84% people are tribal. So when you go in the remote areas, you spend time with them, they don't have a refrigerator, they don't have a fan, but it's amazing that how they can adapt themselves with the change in season. Yeah, I mean, this is wonderful to see it. So you have a big view that exactly people, or we human, can live without all these things, and can live a better life when we stay with nature, when we don't give anything back, like carbon footprints, so much back to the nature. So definitely it broadens your view towards it. So when we talk about this ecotourism, which is a very like used word nowadays, like ecotourism, green travel, responsible tourism, sustainable tourism, and community tourism. So these all like together we talk about this biodiversity conservation policy and planning. A lot of things are involved, but as I mentioned, that we do feel for all these things, definitely. And we look up for all these particular things. But it is very difficult to trust or to find someone who really believes it. And there we have our NHA, and not because I'm a part of it, being an EL, but honestly, like in every true sense, I feel privileged to know this organization, to be able to work with this organization, not only as like our guests or travelers, but also being part of it. I feel, because there are many tour operators, but when you feel, no, they are the one. I mean, this is the one you would be looking forward, and I do feel that for a lot of reason. And responsible tourism and conservation tourism goes like hand to hand, and these two have great impact on environment. And during this global crisis moment, imagine, where climate change and the threatened towards extinction, like species talking about become like pretty common, you know. Just think, if you get more chance to involve in conservation during your travel, I think it's a win-win situation, isn't it? So this is how it goes through. So the first mission goes with the conservation through exploration. So the more you explore, and we believe the more you conserve. As I say that something touches you or something get you attached with nature, and you see things and then you know things, and to see and know you have to believe it. And with NHA or with the expedition leader and we all together, we do develop that believing part. Exactly, this is what is happening and this is what we need to do. So the first thing which may come to your mind, that how traveling can help. Definitely, conservation happens when we work on science like research, habitat protection, education awareness, and other outreach programs to keep steady thought process. So when we travel, especially if it is for wildlife and nature, it is a responsibility for us that we see and feel this wonderful thing about like hearing things. Don't help, right? We need to understand that. And exactly, NHA team tries the same. While going with NHA, you just not only travel, but get to know about the place, animals, native people, and their values. So you finish the trip and go back and with a lot more values and awareness, and can transform into a conservation traveler than just a traveler. So the first thing what they do is the like carbon neutral thing. So it's like since the foundation in 1985, NHA has been like committed to the global leadership to make entire travel industry more sustainable, right? And we feel proud. We should feel proud that with NHA, when we travel, we know that world's first 100% carbon neutral company it is. And how does it work? So when travel related activities happens for approx 10% of the worldwide greenhouse gas emission that contribute to climate change. I mean, imagine that's too much, right? And with that, so NHA has actually, NHA has carbon pollution reduction program, which started in 2007. And they have partnered with South Pole. I mean, that's a company that makes that works to reduce carbon impacts by offsetting greenhouse gas emission by third-party verified projects around the world. And since 2019, NHA also offset all other travelers' flight to and from our global adventure destination, increasing a total amount of our carbon offsetting by 300 to 400%. Imagine when you travel, they get calculated, even for the travelers I'm saying, and people who are working in the office, those carbon footprints are calculated, and that amount has been given to the people who are working for the carbon neutral projects. How wonderful is that? That you travel without a guilt, that how much footprint you are putting back. So by calculating it, so you can do that too. So NHS support that renewable like geothermal and hydroelectric energy in Sumatra, Indonesia, and replace high efficiency cooking stoves in Ethiopia. And of course, from 2022, NHS supported Tomorrow's Air, negative emission technology that can help clean up the carbon dioxide from atmosphere, like by direct capture. And from 2017 to 2019, NHA has offset almost near about 50,000 tons of carbon dioxide. And this has not been done like with NHA. I mean, this has been given, the report has been given to by the US Environment Protection Agency. So imagine when you travel, it makes a lot of sense. And then it next comes to the zero waste. And we are also the world's first zero waste adventure tour organizers. And that happens with Court in our Yellowstone National Park. You imagine 12, you can see the picture at the bottom, 12 days of travel with so many people. Their waste is just that jar. I mean, whatever you have, all the tags and stuff, which is there inside in that jar. And apart from there is nothing waste which has got back to nature during that travel. That was a huge, I think, show or huge example that we definitely can do if we want, because we don't only do it, or we really work hard behind this whole idea to it. And that's so by pursuing plastic free travel, like no single use plastic, no reusable mugs, no straws, the NHA team and the NHA gets supports that travelers against plastic movement, or they believe in it. And inspiring like our travelers, and with their the message keeps spreading across. And that is one of the motif of NHA, that when you come, it's not only the wildlife watching or the adventure you go through, it's also about how much recycling and how you can recycle, and what are the things you can do to make a thing proper. Maybe the percentage of the people we can reach out is could be slow, or we won't be able to. But imagine if we even can reach out to 10 people, and that brings a chain, that those 10 people will definitely influence another 10 people. So that's where it should go on. And reducing and not only there, I mean, after you do the trip, even we get to give the feedback for the guests. There is a feedback form as well, that you can actually share your ideas, that how or what thing can be done, or what did you like about it, or what did you get through the feedback. So that is definitely, so that imagine the community. It's not only the people who are working for NHA or working at NHA, it's the people who are getting connected with NHA. They all can come together to bring more sustainable things, or to give more ideas, so that we can work on it and just bring out a better tourism where we get a lot of fun, but at the same time we think about the environment as well. I mean, that is the first priority rather for it. And then it's not just during the travel, or we are trying with the guest, or to make them feel or to happy, but we do generally follow. Even at home when I stay, keep on we just using no using utensils which have to like you can buy and just throw it. So generally when I go for grocery shopping, I take a bag, and for cereals and all, I take containers with me, so that at least I can do my bit of doing that. And definitely so reducing waste as the office. And NHA, as I said, that NHA is a believer. So I mean, that's a parallel effort what the office people are also putting in our Colorado office. So like installation of bins for conventional recycling and composting things, recycled plastic bags and toiletry, added TerraCycle zero waste box for the things which are hard to recycle, all the plastics, refilling dispensaries, which is for snacks, chocolates, and unwrapped foods for the stuff, compostable tea bags, and of course, when you are having coffee at the office, it's ceramic cup. So there is nothing like one use. And even the Colorado office is also like the green building. The roof of the office building is solar array. It is one of the largest in Colorado, which produces near about 122,000 kilowatt energy. And the carpet is made out of recycled thing, the cupboard, the cabinets, and all things are like recycles. Even the concrete, the cork wall, the furniture, the used furniture, they have got to reduce the waste. Consuming the organic garden, all packaging made, the post with the consumers recycle content. All the stickers are compostable. Cleaning supplies are natural. No harmful chemicals are used. Even the catalog, giving e-bikes to the employees out there to reduce the carbon footprint. Even the catalog is made out of 100% natural fiber. And of course, the community volunteer is always there. So whenever there is a problem, somebody is facing a problem, we all come together. And especially, we are pretty far, but the people who are there in the office, they all come together and volunteer to help whenever it is needed, whether it's a flood or it's a personal thing, whoever needed is. So with all these things, like, it's not only on the ground where we are going or where we are traveling, it's from the core that this things has to be there, and so I think it's already a wow factor that like a process that you think so much. One more thing, this is a huge line, but you can actually get it in our NHA website. When you go to the conservation page, you will get all the different sectors where there you will get all the work and how you can do. And there are even NHA is sharing with other organizations that there are 12 lessons which has been like a lot of research and the development of these ideas has happened for the zero waste travel. You can actually get it into that into our website, and you can follow. It's not only for the travel, but whenever you are at home or you are going somewhere, you definitely can follow all these points. And then it comes to partnering with WWF. We know that one of the oldest wildlife conservation organization, and they have been like near about 2,000 projects are happening all around the world. So of course, and to offer conservation travel, like sustainable travel that supports and protects the nature, wildlife, and communities. NHA since 2003 has provided $5 million to support WWF's like global conservation efforts, and they didn't stop there. NHA contributes to give like 1% of the gross sales, plus, I mean, that's 1% is there, and plus 150,000 annually through 2023 as well. And our traveler have donated 33.5 million to run this 2,000 projects globally. Imagine how you get connected. I mean, this is wonderful to feel that these things are happening. And it's actually, while talking to all of you, I'm just feeling it, that how beautiful it sounds, how beautiful we feel when we know that when we share our happiness, And imagine when a tiger is fighting in front of you, or a rhino is in the water, like taking a mud bath. That gives a lot of happiness. It's just fun to watch, and that happiness we are trying to return back to the environment by doing all this. I mean, by all our association, by traveling like this. I think that makes a huge sense of responsibility itself, isn't it? So yeah, and I mean, I feel really great. And so whenever you are traveling, and the ELs will give you the brief about the projects of that particular place, and you can know a lot more that when you are traveling, whatever things are coming, and when the amount which is going for WWF or around the world, of course, I told you already. But you know exactly which are the work over there is happening and why. Main thing is that why these are happening. So for example, in central India, WWF is working in a lot of places. If you're signing up for Grand India Wildlife Adventure, or if you're signing up for Nepal, Bhutan, snow leopard, name it. I mean, for your tiger, that 6-day tiger photography tour. So whatever you are doing here, I'm talking about this area only. Everywhere, all the animals which are critically endangered and endangered, you would see some steps which have been taken by WWF, and how these things are working on ground, and also putting an impact socially by outreach programs. And of course, so that's you get to know. And of course, they're helping out the community, involving the tribal women and men into the programs, because it's their forest. They are the first they are the first people who are living around the forest. We are more like an outsider. We go there, we stay, we enjoy. But they who are believing, who are sustaining, and there, if you get to hear and see, I mean, if you're coming, then you get a chance to meet those tribe people. You get to go their house, that how do they live, and that's an the idea is it's definitely overwhelming, and they are making sort of things and which have been going out to the consumers. So of course they are getting a sustainable income, and I'll tell you a few more about them little later. So, and with that, it didn't stop there. So you have this NHA, of course, supporting, I mean, a lot of philanthropy projects. And do you know, right now there are 15 projects which are going on, and few have been like done long back. So it's ongoing, 15 projects, and all these philanthropic projects that happens where we go, like they select the destination all about. And the more you travel with NHA, the more philanthropic work, the more donation, the more contribution towards conservation keeps on happening. So we all are thankful to all you travelers who believe in NHA, and you travel so that all these good things keeps on happening. And so this commitment inspires NHS leadership role in boosting the grassroots efforts, and there are and not only in 1, 2, 3 places, but few of the philanthropic process. If you hear, if you can read about it, to go to and please visit the website. And like the primary school, which is so education, which is so necessary, the ecosystem, science projects, microplastic projects, the rainforest conservation, child development center, etc. Those are some highlighted things which are definitely happening. If you read it, you get to know more about it. And then you have the community relief fund. So it's almost have been funded like 340,000 dollar has been already given. The places, like especially when the pandemic hit, imagine all the guides, people who are connected, like smaller they just only sustain, they are surviving because of this tourism, because of the connection with NHA. Whenever somebody, I mean, whenever the guests are going, they are taking care of it. And of course, when the tourism is stopped, imagine their condition. And NHA has open-handedly, like, or not NHA, I mean, NHA did definitely, but with that, all the travelers who are associated with NHA, we could reach out to them and bringing all of them back together and just giving out to those people who really, really needed it that time. So for you, if you, and NHA, it's like more like the same amount has been given. So here, if you like give NHA give like $250 travel voucher to you when you donate $250. So it's wonderful, I believe. And you know, it didn't end here. Definitely, it happened all around the world. They keep on doing that wherever it is very necessary, starting from Madagascar to I mean to South Africa, to Africa's in Churchill. So you'll find a lot of places where they keep on doing this, and I'm really thankful. It didn't end there. Actually, you know what? Let me tell you this. It was not there. I don't have a slide because right now I'm just sharing with you. So imagine when the pandemic happens, I have to say this, that definitely we all were like stuck. You know, it was a, we, I mean, Rob and I, we were like talking right before the webinar started that that was a reality check. I mean, nature's reality check, that exactly what can happen. And it was a devastating thing for all of us, not only financially, but I think psychologically. That was a huge, you know, a depression, a panic attack. All these things were definitely were coming, you know, because we really don't know what is happening and how we are going to come out of it and what are we going to do, because unless, as long as we are alive, we have to do something to sustain our livelihood, right? But we were pretty depressed and we have so many questions. And so NHA office kept connecting to all the ELs around the world, and we have done loads of visual virtual trainings and programs, and started this daily dose of nature. I mean, which actually brought us to life, brought us to our passion, because I think this is the place where we share our passion, no matter wherever we are going out in the forest. But when we are talking to all of you, I think we somewhere get really connected with. So those things, I mean, started happening, and we all have learned a new way to reach out and like sustain through this. So I'm like totally thankful to Nat Hab to think like that. I mean, doing those virtual trainings every week, or just meeting all the ELs around the world once in a week or twice in a week was like amazing. Imagine, you know, that we are not going anywhere. I mean, it's there, you know, that feeling, that support, being that backbone. I think it's incredible. I completely like, I have my whole heart, and I'm I'm always there for NHA, and I believe all the people who are connected, they would say the same thing. So, and recently the thing is travel more. So WWF is definitely there, but they are reaching out to a lot of other organizations, just stretching their legs and wings towards more conservation. Is the sea turtle, like SWE, sea turtle conservation. So NH is supporting in like conservation effort to reduce like plastic waste in the sea turtle habitat around the world, encouraging the people to travel without a plastic waste, and to Rare to Wear campaign they are supporting as well, and this is happening Baja, California, sir. I mean, all this, I mean, this is so important. Even I know in Borneo we go to this island, Turtle Island. So those specific things, and I believe that many of you might be staying near the coastlines where you will get to see a lot of turtles out there. And there are only 7 species of sea turtles. So just 7, imagine, around the world. And definitely their life is at stake. And I work with freshwater turtles. I mean, of course, I mean they are, though they are like 350 plus species, but all the turtle species are towards the high extinction list. I mean, almost near about 80% of the turtles we are finding that they are threatened towards the critically endangered or towards the extinction. So of course, that's a huge stand for Nat Hab to reach out or to spread out to another, to support another conservation project like this. And definitely, as I mentioned, that this is, you know, every I mean, in every year or a couple of years, we get all together to go for a training, which happens there. We learn a lot of things, and it's a good thing. So it's not the guests, we they think about the people who are associated with it. All the ELs, they make us very, very special. That, I think, that gives them that how their ideologies and their morality, their ethics is so beautiful and so well planned and organized that they bring a lot of changes in your personal life as well. And as I said, this daily dose of nature that kept on going, and even after pandemic, now everything is getting I mean, long back it everything got into places, but I think this daily dose of natures, because every time, every season, we cannot go out for trips. There is a season for every locations, but this daily dose of nature keeps on happening, and I keep meeting you beautiful people and expressing my love for the nature. And I learn a lot of things while giving daily dose of nature. So hope it keeps on going. And now, what I was telling, that the local guides, you know, in every destination, that makes a lot of sense, because as I was saying, that the people in the ecotourism resorts. So the resorts NHA work with, they have near about 70 to 75% who are local. So imagine in the tribal area or in those localities which is close to the nature, the people who are working in those resorts are getting chance in the ecotourism department, and they don't know, they are not trained hoteliers, but they are taught how to put the plate, how to, I mean, do your tables. So of course that makes a lot of you know, change, a belief, a motivation happens to for all of them. And with the local communities, if you go, how they're sustaining, and when we go, of course, the beliefs we spread out, and we learn a lot of things from them as well. And that makes a lot of special efforts. Last, like you will meet, whenever you come down here, you would meet the tribal guides. I mean, forest department have you know, hired them as the forest guides. They might not be very vocal, or they might not tell you a lot of, I mean, they won't be able to tell you a lot of things because of the language, but you would understand the zeal of it. And they don't get paid by the government, of course, it's a rooster system type, but you know, their association, their involvement makes a lot of difference. So I think this whole tourism, wildlife tourism, makes a lot of change. So sometimes we get a question that all this tourism in the wildlife area should be stopped because it's a disturbance to the animal. But imagine if it stops someday, at least I can tell you about our country, if it stops someday, it's not only the wildlife won't get disturbed, but the thing is that the people, almost 80% people near those areas are dependent on this tourism process. And if anything stops, imagine, I mean, I have a doubt that how much the wildlife thing, would be not disturbed, or they are gonna do well, because people would have this, grief, or like, they might go out, they will start getting inside the forest, taking things from the forest. It will happen, not maybe quickly, but gradually, if anything happens like that. So yes, tourism is important, but conservation tourism and responsible tourism is equally important, rather more important than just traveling. And yes, we always use, there is no like plastics and all. You can see in our breakfast table, it's all the food and all plates and cups which you can reuse again. And all, so that we have our water bottles. I think whoever has traveled with NHA, or in future if you're going to travel with NHA, you will get your water bottles where you can refill your bottle from areas. But let me tell you one point: in India, we visit few places where it is little difficult, that I mean, if we are out, especially during the travel, though we carry filter water, but if sometimes happen, we might have to use bottle water, but very, very rare. So those things happen. And at the same time, if you're traveling, you get a free subscription of 2 years subscription for WWF reports on the magazine they have quarterly. So it's difficult, I mean, you keep connecting, so that connection keeps you moving. Like, okay, you get all the news, whatever things are happening, and this is what you get. And of course, it's not like as I would say, it is not like sailing, it's like partnering. So presenting today, it's I'm a true believer about NH's like ethics and ideology and the morality they follow in. So I just felt like that I should share that what I feel good about, and if you are traveling, what you feel good about it. So definitely this is not for the sailing part. I'm not a marketing person, but this is, I love them. I completely love them. I have a great gratitude towards all these points, how they're working to it, and be our partner in this conservation tourism. And definitely it makes you feel more happy, for sure. And for this tourism, there's so many things keeps on happening. I hope if anything happens, we are well prepared, or we get to sustain, we work it together, and we reach out to during all these pandemics. I hope I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it shouldn't come again, I mean back again, but where we are proceeding towards, anything can happen. So if we are not taking care of this planet, not taking care of what we are actually running on, because conservation word come because whatever we have done, we are conserving that thing. So I hope we all working together, partnering together, working together can, make things stop, at least for the future. And yes, so tourism is a beautiful thing, and keep traveling. It's very, very needed, and to make yourself happy, to the environment happy. And as I say that you can actually go with the citizen science or the travel industry. If you have the power as well, because you travel a lot more places around the world, you can actually stop animal trafficking by, if you suspect anything, you take a picture, you send it to the places where that can be taken care of. So spread out the word that those things are happening. That is very important. Respecting the local culture. We are so different from each other, but every culture has their own aspects and things. So of course we keep in mind, we learn from them as well. And saving the environment by using less like use and throw things, the non-degradable things if you can during your tourism. And yes, that makes us all happy travelers. and hope to see you someday. We will discuss a lot more about the conservation, about the traveling, and we are there to listen to a lot of stories. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you so much for listening. I'm ready to take questions, Rob.
All right, thank you so much, Arpita. Now, if there are any questions, I'd like to remind you that you can submit your questions via the question field in your control panel. We did have a couple of questions, but Arpita, you did cover each and every one of them. So it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So I'm going to throw it back to you for your closing comments.
Oh, oh gosh. Oh, thank you. But if you just suddenly come up with any questions, if you have any queries on conservation, you can definitely go to our Nat Hab website. And if you go to the conservation page, you will get all the detail. And because it's a short time, I can't like cover all the points in every like sub points. So go ahead, read about it, and if you have any questions, our email ID is always there, and we will reach out to you. Thank you so much for being here, and hope you all have a great day ahead. And thank you so much, Rob, for hosting it, and you being wonderful as usual. Everybody, bye, take care.
Arpita, thank you so much for taking the time to present for us today. And I would also like to thank everyone who tuned in today. Now, if you're interested in information on how you can travel with Nat Hab, give us a call at the number on your screen, or you can send us an email at info@nathab.com. Our adventure specialists are happy to help you out. Join us tomorrow for our next daily dose of nature. You can check out this week's lineup, including registration links, on our website at nathab.com/webinars. We did record today's presentation, and we will have the replay available on our website soon. With that, I will conclude the webinar. Goodbye, everybody. We will see you next time.